Now it refreshed. I guess maybe we should ask a question if it's live. I'll just carry on, or shall we wait for... Okay, I'm just going to carry on. Yeah, it's we live. Okay, so as you can see, we have the landing page over here. First of all, let's just talk about what a landing page is, okay? So a landing page is a page on your site that visitors arrive on via some kind of advertising. It could be a Facebook ad, a Google search, a link in an email. And the page is designed with a specific purpose to convert visitors into leads by taking a specific action. In our example over here, as you can see, a health and fitness company would like to invite people to join their personal fitness plan. They offer a free assessment session in order to convince the visitors to join. As you can see, we've got an animated headline over here. It really draws the visitors' attention. Clicking on the button automatically will bring you to the next section where you can see the topics that will be discussed during the free session. The Flipbox widgets, they really make it stand out. And also, if we scroll back up, as you can see, the image has a subtle motion effect as well. It moves upwards. So we'll do that as well. And on the bottom, we have some social media or social sharing buttons over here. And when we click on the Schedule Now button, as you can see, it will open up a form pop-up. And over here, you can schedule. You've got a date picker, you've got a time picker. And let's just fill it in. There we go. We choose a date. We choose a time. And the moment that you say Schedule Now, the pop-up will automatically fade away. Okay, so keep watching to see exactly how this is done. Okay, so first of all, Elementor really is the perfect tool to help you create landing pages. What it is, it's an advanced page builder that allows you to build entire websites page by page with your own custom design. It's a drag and drop builder, meaning that you work directly on the page. You see the result in real time, exactly the way that the website visitor would. There are a lot of advantages with using Elementor Pro, saving a lot of time and development costs. With Elementor Pro, you have access to 50 plus Pro widgets, 300 plus Pro templates, and we're creating more all the time. That will really help you design and build faster without using code. And you can boost your landing page conversions with Elementor Pro's marketing and conversion widgets, such as the visual form builder with built-in integrations, which is what we're going to be using today. Powerful animations that bring your site to life. A design-oriented pop-up builder, which is we're going to be using to create this pop-up. And you can integrate that as well with your favorite marketing tools. And there's so much more. So I'll stop babbling over here. And I'll just, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll try to answer them. And I'll be pausing every now and then to answer some questions. But let's just make a start with working with Elementor. Okay, so to start working with Elementor, you need to create your first page. So let's just go from your WordPress dashboard over here. And what we'll do is we'll go to Pages, and we'll just click Add New. And we'll give it a name. Okay, and just click Edit with Elementor. And in order to start with a clean page, all you need to do is just go to the bottom panel over here and click the Page Settings cog. And over here in Page Layout, you can go ahead and choose Elementor Canvas. And this is the easiest way to create a full blank page. So this is without a header, without a footer, exactly what we need for our landing page. Okay, so let's get familiar with the Elementor interface, right? So on the right side, we've got the editing area of the page. This is where you can add and edit elements that form the layout of your page. On the left side over here is the Elementor panel. Over here, you can see the creative tools. They're called widgets. And you use these widgets to add the elements to your page, like the headings, paragraphs, images, videos. You can always access this area by clicking on the widgets icon in the top right. On the top left, we have the hamburger menu where you have some more options like setting global default fonts and colors, powerful theme style settings. You can also click to view your page. And if you want to exit to dashboard, you can do that as well. At the bottom over here, we have some more key features. We already saw the page settings where you can change the name of your, the title of your page, the page layout, and a lot more. Next to that, we have the navigator. This will help us get a clear overview of the page. It is empty at the moment because we haven't built anything yet. So we'll come back to that later, when we finish building. Next to that, we have history. And over here, we can see recent changes, which can really help you out while you're editing. There's no need to worry that you lost your work. It's automatically saved, and you can always go back and check your actions. And there's even a powerful revisions, so it can really help you out. Next to that, we have the responsive menu for switching between the screen modes, tablet, mobile, desktop. We can make some mobile edits. And finally, we have the preview changes, and we've got the publish button and some other save options, which we'll go over soon as well. Okay, so let's just take a closer look at how pages are built. There's two ways you can start. You can either just go to the library over here where we've got pre-made blocks, pages, templates that you saved yourself, which I'll show you later as well. Let's just go to blocks over here. And as you can see, we've got, you can preview the block. Okay, so basically a block is part of a page, so it's a section, right? And we can preview that, and we can just insert it simply like that. And let's just check out what's in a block and see how Elementor is built, or how you can build with Elementor. So basically, there are three main building blocks. There's sections, columns, and widgets. The sections, you can identify them by the blue border over here. Inside them, we've got the columns, with you can identify them by the black dashed border. And inside them, we've got the widgets. We've got a heading widget over here. Over here, we've got a countdown widget. These the columns, they've got the widgets inside them, and you can control the sections, the columns, the widgets with their handle over here. You've got the handles, and you can simply right click where we can duplicate, we can copy, we can paste style. There are really a lot of options over here, so let's just duplicate. Now we've got two sections with the same content inside it. We can just delete it like that. Let's just go ahead and duplicate. Now we've got two columns with the same content in it. What we can also do is we can move the sections, the columns, and the widgets around by simply dragging and dropping them. So let's say we want to move this text over here, we want to move it up over here. The blue line indicates where it's going to be positioned when you let go. We can also move it over to another column. So we can really play around with that, and we can even drag a column over here and switch between them. So that gives us a lot of options over here to play with. Okay, so we don't only have these settings over here. On the panel on the left, we've got some more settings. So sections and columns, they have the layout, style, and advanced tabs. And widgets, they have the content, style, and advanced tabs. And soon we'll see exactly how these settings are used to create our specific landing page, and so you can apply it to your own designs. But first, I'll go ahead and delete this section over here. Another way to add sections is by pressing the plus, which is what we're going to do, because we're going to be creating our landing page from scratch. As you can see, we can choose to add we can add a section here with one column. We can add a section with two identical columns, three columns, two columns with the left column is smaller than the right column. There's really a lot we can choose from. Okay, so let's just dive in and start building our landing page. Okay, so first of all, let's just check out the first section that we're going to be building. Now, it might seem as if all of this is one section, but this is actually two sections. The one over here, the content's a little bit wider. As you can see, the icon here is a little bit more to the left. And it just has the same background. Okay, so let's just start with this first section over here. Same background color. All right, so I'll go ahead and add a section with one column, like so. And can you see the column over here? So the column is basically, the content goes in the column, right? So if we want to control the width of the content that we have, then we can do that over here. And let's just go and play around with that. As you can see, the column width changes. And I'll go ahead and set it to 1200 pixels for this section over here. Another thing that I can control is the height. Okay, so I'm going to give it a min height. Min height means that no matter the amount of content you put in a section, it will always at least be a certain height. This can come in handy when, let's say, you're you're creating a section with an image and some text, and it's got a specific style, and the moment that somebody wants to change the content, maybe want to add less text, you don't want it to break the design, so it will still stay at least a certain height. So this is a good use case for using minimum height. As you can see, the default is 400 pixels. I'm going to be using a different unit, a relative unit called VH. It stands for viewport height. It's in relation to the viewport height, which is the browser height over here. For example, setting it to 100 VH takes up 100% of the viewport height. You can see that by the blue border over there. And of course, if we set that to 50 VH, it takes up exactly half. Now, because this section is relatively small, I'll set it to 15 VH. And let's start styling this section over here. So I'll go to background, I'll go to background type, and I'll give it a purple background color. So I go to color, and I'll go ahead and just paste my color code over here, and I'll go ahead and add it to my color picker because I'm going to be reusing this. So there we go. I simply added that to the color picker so I can reuse that. Now on top of this background color, I'm going to be adding a background overlay. Okay, I'm just going to choose normal classic background overlay. It's going to be an image. It's a PNG image, a transparent PNG image. So I'll just go ahead and upload a file. It will be this one. I'll insert that. And I'll first set it to no repeat, okay, just so that we only see it once. Then I'll set the position to top right, like that, and I'll set the size to contain, and the opacity I'll set, now it's transparent, it's default is 50%, so I'll just set it to 1 or 100%, so it's clear, and that's that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go back to our icons, our widgets, and search for the icon list. The icon list widget, and we'll just simply drag and drop that into the column over here. And in the content tab over here, we've got the icon list, we've got all the items, so I'll just go ahead and delete these two over here. And I'll click on this one and I'll change the text. Okay, so this is going to be the mindful fitness text. So I'll just go ahead and paste that. And I'll go ahead and enter the icon library over here, and I'll just search for the Apple icon. Okay, the text is hard to see. We'll fix that soon because it's got a dark color over there. So let's just go to style. Let's style the icon first. Let's go to color, and I'm going to give it a pink color. I'll go ahead and give it this pink color. Also add that to the color picker over here. That's great. Let's just increase the size a bit. As you can see, we can play around with that. It can be very accurate as well. And now let's style the text. I'll go to text, and let's just change the text color to white. And we'll go to typography, and I'll give it a font family. I'll set it to Montserrat. I'll set the size to 20 pixels. I'll make it a little bit bolder. I'll set it to 600. And I'll set the transform to capitalize, so the first letter of each word is a capital. And this is it. This is the first section, okay? So let's just go back to see. That's what we have over here. And now let's start with the second section. Okay, so as you can see, there's some text. We've got the animated heading over here that basically got rolling text that changes with a different color. So we'll create that. And we've got a button. The button, when we click it, scrolls automatically to the second section. And we've got an image with some motion effects over here. So let's just start building this one. What I'll do is I'll add a section with one column, and I'll set the content width for this one to 1000 pixels, and I'll give it a min height as well. This time I'll set it to 80 VH. Okay. And what we can also do over here is we can control the column position. As you can see, the column is positioned in the middle of the section. I'm just going to set it to the top, so the content and all the widgets that we added will be closer to the first section. So we can really control that. Let's go to style. Let's go to background. And I'll just set this to the same purple color that we saved before. So that's great. Next, what we'll do is we'll go and use a shape divider. Okay, I'll go set a shape divider at the bottom of the section. Okay, and we can choose a lot of types. I'm just going to go for the tilt. Really cool. Can control the height like that. I'll go ahead and set it to 400. We'll just add it manually. That's also cool. And then next, let's go back to the widgets and drag in a text editor widget. Okay, so over here, let's just add your personal plan to a healthier lifestyle, like that. I'll just go ahead and paste that. And let's style it. In style, I'll go ahead and align it to the center. Let's change the color to white so we can see it. Okay, and let's go to typography. And I'll set this one to Poppins, a Google font. Set it to Poppins. Increase the size. And I'll make it a thin weight of 200. And I'll set the transform to uppercase. Okay, and a cool thing that we can do, and that's what I'm going to do over here, is I'll go to content, and I'll just select this personal plan over here. I want that to pop out. I want it to stand out. So I'll just go ahead and make that bold. So that looks good. Okay, great. Next, let's just move on to our animated headline. Okay, so just search for it over here. And we'll drag it in, and we'll change the style. Instead of highlighting the words, we'll just go to rotating, so it changes the words. As you can see, the rotating text was added below, which is what we're going to be using. And we'll change the animation to slide. There are a lot of animations you can use. You can really style this, your own way. I'm just, going to do it the way that I prepared. But you can really play around with this and be creative. Let's just change the before text. So this is the text that it's hard to see. I'm sorry, that's a dark color. But that's before the animation. So let's just change that. This is going to say, tired of feeling. Go ahead and add that. And the rotating text, the first one, it's going to say, tired of feeling heavy, tired of feeling inactive, and the last one. There we go. Okay, so now let's add the after text as well. Okay, so that comes after the rotating text. And this is going to say, get back in shape now. And I want this text to always appear under the rotating text. Okay, I always want that to appear there. So I'll use a line break. Okay, you can just add a line break like that, and it will automatically always show it under the rotating text. Or if you're using some other, if you're using a heading widget or whatever not, you can also do that. All right, so it's time to style. So let's go to style, and let's just change the text color to white. And I'll go to typography over here. And I'll go ahead and change that to Playfair Display. That's a nice font. I'll change it to 50 pixels. I'll make it a bold weight, 700. I'll set it also to capitalize. That's that. Now let's style the animated text. Okay, as you can see, we've got the animated text over here. And I'll change it to the pink that we saved before. So that's cool. Okay, great. So now we can go ahead and drag in a button widget. I'll just drag it in over here. And this text is going to say, start with a free assessment. So I'll add the text over there. And for the link, what we'll do is we'll add a link that automatically scrolls down to the middle section that contains the free assessment topics. We haven't created that yet, so I'll show you how to do that later. First, let's align it to the center. I'll set the size to medium, and I'll also add an icon. I'll add an arrow down icon indicating that when you click it, you'll scroll down. Okay. And let's just add some spacing between the icon and the text over there. I'll just go and set that to 20. Okay, great. So time to style the button. First of all, I'll just go to typography, and I'll set the font family to Montserrat. I'll set it to capitalize. That's great. And I'll change the background color. I'll change it to a light blue. Okay, so as you can see, there's the normal state here. Background color. Just change it to this nice blue. I'll add that to the picker as well. By the way, you can drag and drop in the picker. You can just delete colors that you've added before. You can move them around to organize it. So it's a really helpful way to organize your color palette while you're building, or you can organize and set that up before. This color picker is site-wide, you know, so if you're creating another page, whatever, not just automatically added to the color picker, which is really cool. Okay, great. So let's move on. I'm going to be adding a border radius over here. I want to make it pill-shaped, so I'll just add 30 pixels all around. Okay, great. So now it's time to drag in the image widget. So I'll just drag that in over here, and I'll enter the library over here, upload files, and I'll just upload the image, and I'll insert that. On a side note, there are a lot of online sites that you can check out where you can download free vector illustrations, just like this one. I used icons8.com/ouch. As you can see here, there really are a lot of things that you can check out over here. So it's just a tip. Okay. So let's just create some space between the button and the image. Okay, so we're going to be using some padding to do that. So I'll go to advanced, and what I'll do is because I'm only adding it at the top, I'll unlink the values. Okay, so I can set them individually, and over here I can just add some padding. Okay, this is in pixels. The unit, I'm going to change it to percentage, which is a relative unit. It's better for responsive behavior and responsive design. We've got a couple of tutorials about that as well, that really explains, why it might be better to use this unit. But basically, it's in relation to the column that it's in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play around with that, and I'll set that to 5% padding. As you can see, it created some padding over there. And now it's time to add some motion to it. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a motion effects drop down. What I'm going to be doing is I'll add some scrolling effects. We can also add mouse effects, but I'm going for scrolling effects, and I'll add a vertical scroll. I'll just leave it, as is a default, but you can change the direction, you can change the speed, the viewport. Once again, there's a lot of videos we've got on our YouTube channel that really delves into this to create awesome animations, parallax, and a lot more. So that's that. Okay. Let's check to see if there are any questions. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got a question from GM Productions. Inside a column, can I create 2 more columns? Yes, you definitely can. It's called, you can use a widget that's called the intersection widget. You can simply, let me just show it to you over here, intersection over here. As you can see, you can just drag it in, and now we've got 2 columns. Okay, and you can just style that, and really helps you organize the layout of your page over there. So I hope that answers your question. Intersection widget. How can we, a question from, I didn't get the name. How can we change the line or paragraph spacing in the text editor? Let's just go over here. Let's go to style, text editor. In typography, we've got the line height, and we got the letter spacing, okay? So this is where you can do that. You can just play around with that and get the exact style that you're looking for. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to the second section. Let's just first check it out. So we're going to set the button soon to scroll down to this section, right? But what we've got over here is we've got a title. We've got, just like I mentioned before with the intersection, we've got an intersection with 4 columns, okay? So this is how we created the this section over here with the flip boxes with these cool animations, the cool colors. And we've got a button that when we press it will open up the pop-up, which is also what we'll create, and when we schedule now it will automatically close that. So let's just make a start with that. Alright, first of all I'll just add a section with one column, okay, and I'll give it a min height of 80 VH, just like before. There we go. And we'll just drag in the heading widget on top. This is going to be the heading widget, and this is going to say what we'll discuss, and I'll just align it to the center. Let's just quickly style it. I'll give it a black color, and typography, also play fair display 30 pixels. I'll make it bold, give it a weight of 700, and capitalize. Okay, and that's that for now. So now let's go ahead and drag in this intersection widget that I was talking about before. And we need 4 columns, right? Okay, so right now we've got an intersection, okay, inside the column, which is inside the main section, right? So I can right click, I can simply right click, and I can either duplicate the column, so now I've got 3, or I can right click and I can press add a new column, okay? So now we've got 4, that's great. Let's just go back to our widgets and search for and drag in the flip box. There we go, that's the flip box. So we'll drag this in. And there's a lot of settings over here. As you can see with the content, we've got the front, the back, we've got some main settings, and we can style. So let's just start with the front first. I'll change the icon over here. I'll simply search for the hourglass. I'll insert that. The view, I'll choose the stacked style, which is just a circle around it. That is cool. I'll leave the shape as circle. Next, I'm not going to be using the title, so I just delete that, and I'm just going to add a description. This is going to be the body fat percentage. Okay, now let's go to the background, and I'm just going to change the background color over here to a white gray instead of the green. So I'll just change the color like that. Don't worry, the text will come back. We'll style that so we can see it. Let's go to the back. Okay, let's change the content over here. Like before, I'm not going to be using the title, and I'll just add this over here. And let's just carry on over here. Also, for my design, I'm not going to be using the button. So I'll just remove that simply by deleting the text, but you can use it, and add a link also if you want. You can just add it over here. And I'm just going to change the background color to, I'll go to background, and I'll change it to green. And I'll save this color as well in the picker. Okay, now let's just go to the general settings as well. As you can see, you can control the height. I'm going to also use a relative unit over here, VH, the same as before. I'm going to set it to 30 VH. I also add a slight border radius over here of 5 pixels. You can't see it yet, but it's a nice subtle border radius. And let's just change the flip effect. Okay, as you can see, we can control that. What we want to do is we want it to push and the direction up. So when we hover over it, it pushes it up. So that's cool. Okay, so now it's time to style. So we'll start with the front. Okay, I'll just go to the icon. I'll give it a primary color. I'll change that. I'll go here. I'll give it the same green. I'll leave the secondary color as is. It's white. It's cool. I'll change the size. I'll set that to 20. And I'll also add some padding. As you can see, we can play around with the padding here. Set that to 20 as well. Next, let's style the description. Okay, so I'm going to set the text color. I'll set that to this dark gray. Okay, so it's back again. And let's go to typography. And I'll set this to Montserrat, 18 pixels, and I'll just simply set it to capitalize as well. That's great. Now let's style the back. Okay, I'll just go to description. I go to typography. I'll set it to Montserrat as well. And I'll just change it to 18 pixels like that. Okay, so it took some time to create this. Okay, so, but don't worry. What we can do is we can simply copy and we can paste. So, you know, we make a minimum effort, but right now we can literally copy, paste it in all of the columns over here very quickly. And all we need to do is just change the icons and the descriptions, etc. So I'll just quickly do that over here. This is going to be lemon. Okay, change the description. Nutrition and diet. Okay. Go to the back. Change the content on the back. Now we're going to be going to background. We'll change the background color to the light blue we saved before. We go to style, go to the primary color, light blue we saved before, and there we go. Very quickly we can change that. Okay, so let's just change this to clipboard. As you can see, there's a lot of icons we can already choose. You know, we can really create this without uploading extra files. I'll change the description here. And I'll also change the description at the back. Okay. And let's just go to background and give it a red color. There we go. And I'll go to style. And I'll simply give it the red color we saved before. Now, just bear with me. Just to finish this last one. This is going to be the light bulb. All right. There we go. Light bulb. Insert. Mindful shopping. Back. You see, it's almost like a meditating experience. Adding all of this content over here. Let's go to background. Now I'm going to change this to a yellow color. I'll add it to the picker as well. Now it's saved in the picker. Go to style. Automatically already in the picker. Okay, so really cool using the picker. Okay, finally we're done. Okay, so that's that. Now all we need is the button. Okay, so I'll just simply copy the button from the first section and I'll go ahead and paste it over here. Okay, and now as you can see, we need to create some space between the intersection and the title and the intersection and the button. Okay, so let's just go back to the intersection and I'll go to advanced and I'll just unlink the margin over here. Oh, I won't unlink it. I'm sorry. I'll just use, I'll change it to percentage as well. I'll just increase it because we need it on the top and we need it on the bottom as well. Okay. So, by the way, the difference between the margin and the padding is that the padding's inside the object itself or the widget, and the margin's outside it. It's a very basic explanation, but as you can see over here, now there's space above and below the intersection. Okay, so that's the margin. Okay, cool. So 5%. This looks great. Let's go back to the button and make some adjustments. First of all, this is going to say schedule now. Okay, we're going to change the icon to a calendar icon. Okay, and this button is going to open up the schedule now pop-up, okay, which I'll show you how to make really soon. Okay, so basically we're done with this section, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to set the first button in the first section to scroll down automatically to this section. Okay, so all you need to do is you just need to go to the section that you want to scroll down to, okay, and you can simply go to advanced, and over here in CSS ID, you can just add an ID over here, and it can be any description word that you want. All you need to do is make sure that there aren't any spaces. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added this ID over here that says free assessment, which is also in the button text, so it's easy to remember. Make sure you copy that, and then just simply go back to the button settings over here, go back to content, and go in link. Make sure there's the pound key over there, and just paste that CSS ID that you created before. Make sure it's there's a pound key in front of it. The moment that you press the button, it will automatically scroll down. Okay, so that's really cool. All right, now before we create the pop-up, let's just see if there's any questions. Let's see. GM production, should I play with high numbers at padding or margin? Because I think I break the responsiveness. All right. I guess a general rule of thumb, breaking responsiveness we'll get into, and I'll show you exactly how I use it. But you know, what does it mean to use high numbers of padding or margin? You know, if you want to have a section with a lot of space in between, then instead of using margin or padding, you can use some column settings, spacing settings. I think maybe this could help you out over here. You know, okay, I'm just going to do it, right? Okay, let's just go to section settings over here. We can go to layout, okay, and we can go to column position, and we can set it to stretch. Now it's in the middle. We change it to the middle. We can set it to stretch. So now the column takes up 100% of the section itself, okay? And what we can do in the on the column level, we can go ahead to vertical align, and we can align the content itself, okay? So that's a different way of organizing your layout before. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that quickly, so maybe that helps you out a little bit. Instead of using padding or margin, you can do it use another way. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Let's see. Let's just check out. Okay, so first of all, we got this final section, right? We don't have time to build this one together. It's very, very similar over here as the first section. It's got these social share buttons over here. As you can see, it's very similar. So I just advise you to just copy paste or duplicate and drag the section all the way down below. You can change the shape divider, just tilt it the other direction, set the overlay to the left side, and just drag in. As you can see, it's social share, the share buttons over here, and just style them to your liking. So that's really cool. Okay, so it's time for the pop-up. Right, so let's just first check it out. We scroll down, schedule now. We've got the pop-up, it's got a 4-minute, it's got text, and when we schedule it, it automatically closes. Okay, so let's just build that. First of all, what I'll be doing is I'll just simply open the Finder, okay, to save some time, and all you need to do is click Command or Control E. We'll open up the Finder, and you can search for where you want to go or what you want to do. It essentially is a search bar that offers easy navigation between different pages and dashboard settings. With the Finder, you can create a new page, switch between pages, preview pages, and a lot more. I'm going to go ahead and type add new, and I'll go ahead and choose pop-up. And I'll just make sure that I'm holding down Command or Control, so it opens up in a new tab. Okay, so things are still organized over here. I can jump back and forth. I'll just go ahead and give it a name. I'll call it, let's see, landing page form. Go ahead and create that. As you can see, we've got a lot of pre-made pop-ups over here, right? So you can just preview them, you can insert them, tweak them, change them. You can organize them by category over here, so you can find specific types of pop-ups. I'm going to close this because we're going to be building it from scratch. So first of all, I'm just going to go to the pop-up settings over here in the bottom left corner. And I'm going to leave everything as default, but you can set it however you like. For example, you can change the width. Okay, I'm just going to leave it as was before. You can also align it to the right. You can align it to the top. You can really play around with it whatever way you like. But I'm just going to leave it like this. And let's have a look. Also, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add an entrance and exit animation. Okay, so when you press the button, it's going to open up the pop-up. It's going to fade in, and when it closes, it fades out. So I'm just going to simply go entrance, fade in, exit animation, fade out. I'll change it to 1 second, and that's that. Okay, so we're already from the get-go already set up the animation over here. Okay, so let's go to style. And I'm just going to add a radius over here, as you can see, 15 pixels. And let's just style the overlay, which is this dark color you see behind it over there. I'm going to go for white. And I'm going to drag the opacity down a bit, okay? I'm going to drag it about halfway, something like that. As you can see now, it's more transparent. And in the close button drop down, I'll just change the position of the button. As you can see, we can play with the vertical position, the horizontal position. I'll just set that to 4, this one to 5. And in advanced, the only thing that I'm going to be doing is add some padding. But just so you know, there's a lot of settings over here, such as automatically close after a certain amount of time, which you can set over here. You can also disable page scrolling and some other really cool, very practical, avoid multiple pop-ups, etc. Settings that we've got over here. I'm just going to go ahead and add some padding. I'll change it to percentage, and as you can see, our content over here is getting padding on top, on the right, on the left, on the bottom, like that. So, okay, so that's what I want. So that's great. Okay, time to design it. First of all, let's go to the widgets. And as you can see, it's the same as just designing the landing page, any page. It's the pop-up builder. So, you know, you can apply all of your elemental skills, and you can just use that to create really cool pop-ups. I'll go ahead and search for icon. I'll drag that in over here. And I'll go ahead and search for that same apple, insert it. Style, primary color, the red that we saved before. I'll set the size, make it a little bit smaller. Next, I'll go ahead and drag in the heading widget. Paste it below. And this one's going to say, schedule your free assessment. So we'll add that text over here. Okay. Then I'll align that to the center. And in style, we'll go ahead and change the text color to the purple we saved before. Typography. Set that to play fair display. 40 pixels. Okay, we'll make it bold as well. Set the weight to 700. Capitalize. Line height, there we go. Here we got the line height. You see, you can really play around with that. Okay, that's about right. And over here, what I'll do to the heading is I'll create some space under the heading. So I just add some padding for the next widget that we're going to add, which is the form widget. I'll go ahead and unlink the padding values over here, and I'll go ahead and add. I'll change it to percentage as well, and I'll go ahead and add 5% of padding here on the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and search for the form widget. Okay, as you can see, it's a form widget, but it's an actual form builder over here. We can really style it to our liking and do a lot of things over here and use integrations, etc. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, as you can see, we've got the form fields. Okay, we've got the submit button, actions after submit. We'll go over everything. The form fields, we've got the name, email, message. I'll go ahead and click message, and over here we've got type. Okay, so we can choose all different types of fields. Over here, I'm going to choose the date picker. Okay, it's very simple. This will turn it into a date picker. Over here, we can add the label. I'll paste that over here. That's the label. The placeholder text I'll choose also. I'll change it to the same. Next, let's go to the column width. As you can see, it takes up 100% of the width. What I'm going to be doing is I'll set it to 66. Now it takes up 2/3. Okay, and I do this because I'm going to be adding another field over here. Okay, so let's just add a new item. Okay, and we'll change this type. We'll change it to time picker, right? And the label, it will be time. Placeholder will be time. And over here, the column width will be 33. And it automatically appears next to it. So that's really cool. We can control that. Let's change the input size to medium. We can choose to hide the labels. For my design, I'm going to hide the labels. Either way, it's important to write down the labels because that's what you see when you receive a message. So, but I'm going to hide them for the design over here. Okay, so let's go to the submit button drop down. And let's change the text. This is going to say schedule now. I'll just go ahead and paste that. I'll change the size. Change it to medium. And over here, we can add actions after submit. Okay, so over here, we've got email. This is over here, it creates an email drop-down where we've got all different email settings. We can also add different services. We can integrate it with marketing platforms such as MailChimp. Let's see, MailChimp, create a drop-down over here where you can add an API key. You can select your audience, and there's a lot more that you can do. Okay, so I'll go ahead and delete that. And now what I want is I want the pop-up to close after that we submit the form. Okay, so in actions after submit, we can also choose pop-up. Okay, it's really cool. It creates a pop-up drop-down. Over here, we can choose the action. Okay, I'm going to choose it to close the pop-up. And that's that. Okay, great. So let's go to style. Let's style it a bit. I'll go to field. And I'll just add a border radius over here. I'll turn it into pill shaped as well. I'll just set this to 30. And I'll go to the button. And I'll just go to the background color. Change it to the purple we saved before. And I'll set the border radius to 30 as well. Okay, that's great. So now that we're done creating the pop-up, let's publish the pop-up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit publish. And over here we can set the conditions, the triggers, and there's some advanced rules as well to control where, when, and how the pop-up appears on the page. I'm not going to be setting these because I'll set the button on the landing page to actually open up the pop-up. So I'll just go ahead and hit save and close. Okay, so now we created a pop-up. We can simply go back to the page. I'll close the Finder, go back to the Schedule Now button, okay, and we'll go back to in content, we'll go to link, and we simply go to dynamic tags, okay, we'll scroll down, and here we've got actions, and we can go and select pop-up, okay, and then we'll click on pop-up. We'll set the action to open the pop-up, and over here we can just type in and choose the pop-up that we just created, okay. Landing page form pop-up. Okay, and that's it. So let's just preview. There we go. Scrolls down automatically. That works. Press the button. Works. Choose a date. The date pickers, a time picker, all works. Schedule now. Send successfully. And it closes. So that really works. It's really cool. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Let's have a look. Let's see. A mandatory field. We've got a question from Irene de Donatis, by the way. How can I add a mandatory field with a warning message like that usually happens with accepting terms and conditions? Let's just go back to the pop-up. Okay, we'll go to the field, go to content. And over here we can, let's have a look. Input size. We can choose required. Okay, so when we set required to yes, it's a mandatory field. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's see if we've got another question. Irodis Kavazidis, what do you do to make sure that your creation looks the same in different desktop screen sizes? That's exactly what we're going to be doing. We know we're going to be making some mobile edits for that. So that was great. Jumping the gun, awesome. Okay, so let's make a start with that. Okay, first of all, I just want to show you, right now we finished creating the page, tons of content, created sections, created widgets, whatever not. It's time to open up the Navigator. Okay, hello Navigator, full of content. All of the sections are over here. We can interact with it. We press the section, will automatically bring us to that section. Let's open it up. This one's got one column with an icon list. Clicking on the icon list will automatically enter its settings. Okay, so we're going to be using this to get this overview when we editing for mobile as well. It will help us out. Another cool tip is you can also give them names. Okay, so I can call this Hero 1. I can call this section Hero 2. I can call this section Info and Schedule. You know, and this is also helpful when you're working with a designer or you know giving this design to somebody else. You know, they'll have a clear overview of the page. They'll understand what's going on. It will help them out a lot. Also, something else. Let's just click on the image with the motion effect. As you can see, in the Finder itself, the Navigator, we've got a label over here with motion effects. So it helps us identify what settings we have. You know, you'll also see these labels for custom positioned elements, custom CSS, and a lot more. So when you're creating more intricate pages, it will really help you out, get a clear overview of what's going on. All right, enough babbling. Time to go to the mobile mode. As you can see, we've got the responsive mode over here for tablet and mobile. Potential customers, they'll view the page on the mobile devices. So let's see exactly how we can make some adjustments so it looks good on mobile as well. I'll just tweak the first section so you get a hang of it. You see how it works. I'll go to mobile. Okay. Doesn't look bad. Let's make some tweaks. Okay. Just open up the Navigator as well. I'll click on Hero 1. We're automatically in the first section settings over here. I'll just go to Advanced. And what I'll do is I'll unlink the padding and I'll just change it to percentage. And what I'll do is I'll add 5% on top, 5% on the right, 0% on the bottom. Okay, so I already organized the position of the column over here with the padding. As you can see, the change that I made, the values that I gave for the padding, they're only for mobile. These responsive handles, they indicate that they are only for mobile, only for tablet, only for desktop. So what you add over here, it's not applied to the desktop or the tablets. Okay, it's important to know that. So when you're making mobile adjustments, make sure you check out to see that they have these responsive handles over here. Let's go to the icon list. Okay, we can either click on it over here or we can use the Navigator. What I'll do here is I'll just simply go to content. Now I'll go to style. I'll just align it to the center like that. Next, let's go to Hero 2. We're automatically in the section settings already. Over here also, I'll go to advanced. I'll just add some padding, change it to percentage all around. I'll just add 5%. That looks good. Okay, great. Let's go to the text editor. Over here, what I'll do is, okay, so another cool thing that you can do is you can, because there's a lot of text right now, and there's too much text for mobile. It's distracting. It's not helping us with the conversion. It's better to have less text, and the call to action, the button needs to, pop out. And the animated text is more important over here. So I'm going to decide to hide this text on mobile. I'll simply go to advanced. There's a responsive setting over here. I'll just click hide on mobile. So now it's grayed out. When we hide the panel, we can see it just disappeared. Okay, so this is only on mobile. We won't see this text. Another tip that you can use for when you're making specific layouts for your mobile. So that's that. Let's go to the animated headline. I'll go to typography. As you can see, we can control the size. It's also got mobile responsive handles. I'll change it to 35. Already looking a lot better. Let's go to the button. And I'll just go to style and I'll change the text size over here in typography. Also responsive handle. Change that to 14. And I'll just go back to the section settings over here. Now let's fix the shape divider. I'll go to style, shape divider. The shape divider is on the bottom. And over here we can control the height. Also got mobile responsive handles, so we can play around with that. Like that. That looks good. Okay, and I don't want this motion effect. I don't want that for mobile. Okay, I'm just going to disable that for mobile. So simply go to the image. We're automatically already in advanced, in motion effects, in the scrolling effects, and we can apply the effect on desktop, tablet, and mobile. Simply remove the mobile, and that's it. And let's just check that out. Cool. So that's the first section. There are many settings that I don't have time to show you, such as advanced responsive editing. If you go to a section over here and you've got multiple columns, you can go to advanced and you can go to responsive and you can reverse columns. So it will help you out or organize content in a better way. We've got some videos explaining that as well on our YouTube channel. So check it out, and we show you exactly how you can use that for your own designs as well. Let's just go back to the pop-up. Also don't have time to go over this, but look, you can also tweak your pop-up for mobile. You can make mobile edits. I don't have any time to show you that right now, but also we've got some videos about that. Play around with it. You'll get the hang of it. It's really easy. Have fun playing around. Don't worry. You can always go back. There's revisions over here in history. So that's really cool. Okay, so let's just check to see if there are any final questions. Let's see. I think we're running out of a little bit of time over here. Either way, we're going to try answer all the questions that we get. Okay, so we're nearing the end of the webinar. We finished creating the page. Let's just go ahead and publish. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit publish. And we can go ahead and preview the page. Check that everything works. Scrolls down. These things look nice. Schedule now. Pop-up works. We already checked that before. That's all great. Another cool thing is now that we created the whole page, we can save this whole page as a template. We can just call this landing page. I'm just going to call it Pro 2. Save it. As you can see, it's in our library, my templates over here. Landing page there. We can preview it. We can insert it into the page, reuse it. Really helps us save a lot of time creating multiple pages on the fly. Another cool thing is that you can also save sections as templates. Okay, so you can just give them a name exactly the same as saving a page, and really reuse them and really create multiple pages with different designs very quickly. Okay, so I'll just bring myself back over here. There we go. I just want you to know that, this is really the tip of the iceberg. I covered a lot during the webinar. I hope that, you learned a lot and you can apply it to your own designs. There's a lot more that you can learn. Elementor Pro really provides you with tons of tools to create highly converting landing pages, fully fledged websites as well, using the form widgets that I mentioned, motion effects, really bringing your design to life, pop-ups, to keep your visitors engaged, a theme builder to visually customize your website's headers, footers, archive pages, single post pages, and other areas on your site, and a lot more. Also, the more that you learn, the better you'll be able to design and really improve your workflow. There's tons of tools to help you improve that. I really think that you're ready to take your first steps with Elementor, create your own stunning landing pages and proudly publish them. I'd like to invite you to join our Facebook group with loads of helpful tips and tricks. Become part of our huge Elementor community full of like-minded web creators. Everybody's helping each other, really improving, becoming better at what they do. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's full of all different types of tutorials, really to help you master Elementor. And lastly, also on our website, check out the Help Center for easy access to the knowledge base, FAQs, docs, and a lot more. Also, everybody who joined the webinar, we'll send you a link to the materials needed to create this landing page. Feel free to rewatch the webinar and recreate the page step by step. You can apply these skills to create your own attractive converting landing pages for your own businesses, hospitality industry, restaurants, gyms, e-commerce, and a lot more. And we'll also send you a link to a survey just to give some feedback on this webinar so we can improve them and keep making relevant and to-the-point webinars. Also, I'd like to invite you to share your creations inspired from this webinar in the comments below. So I wish you good luck, and most of all, enjoy being creative. So thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.